Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Live Bold and Boss Up. It's your girls, Steph and Ash. And we have we have part dos of Synapse live in Orlando. We have a few more speakers that'll knock your socks off. We have Tim Armendinger. He's founder and CEO of the World Health Exchange. Super smart individual. Then we have David Adelson. He's the Chief Innovation Officer over at the Orlando Economic Partnership. And then we have Dave Finnigan. He's super fun, creative individual that has a lifetime of experience and knowledge, right?
Yes.
And he graces us with his presence. He's the founder of Green Actioneers. So let's hear first from Tim and find out what he's doing to revolutionize the health.
We are live here at Synapse, and we have Tim Armendinger. Did I say that right?
You did. Thank you for having me.
Here with us. Tim, tell us about your company, what you do, just a brief little synopsis.
No, absolutely. So my name is Tim Armendinger. I'm the initial founder of the World Health Exchange. So we're a decentralized online platform that operates like a Wall Street. So we're the first, we like to advertise that we're the new Wall Street of healthcare. So
that's a very bold statement, and it's very intriguing.
I love it. I know.
Which is why you're on, and we want to hear more about that. I mean, like, I love that that correlation. So please tell us how you thought of this and
Sure.
how it works so easily.
Well, I'm not so sure easily, but we have to remind ourselves sometimes that some things are too important not to do. And so this is a significant challenge that the world is operating in. I'll be upfront that it was a little bit of a happy accident. And so it was during time with a major hospital system. I was the head of global strategy at the time. And we realized that the entire industry, the problem is that we have a lack of pricing transparency across the entire industry. And it's not just for the patients or the consumers, it's also for the businesses. So the businesses don't have the information, the tools, and the access they really need to focus on patient care.
And when you say businesses, are you saying just any corporation that gives healthcare to their employees? That
Yes.
perspective? Okay.
Yes. The business needs, in order to serve those that they're in business for, it's incredibly difficult. And so we started asking a series of what if questions. So rather than the industry making incredibly important decisions on patient care based on information from the past a year ago, it's limited. What if we could get it real time from the source? And so that started an entire new series of what if questions. But long story short, I was still with the hospital system at the time, and we formed an entity more as a special project. It wasn't really intended to become where it is today. And so here we are, World Health Exchange. We are very committed to helping to solve what we believe to be one of the biggest social, economic, and political challenges of today. So healthcare was built with good intentions. And with those good intentions, we created a very, very complicated foundation for standardization codes. And what the industry's done is they've built solutions, complicated solutions on top of a very complicated process. And so I'm a large fan of Elon Musk, very much believe that first principles thinking is really what helped pave the way to being a change agent. So that's what we've done. We've kept what we know really needs to stay, and that's more on the government side. And we've started over from scratch. So what we're doing, again, is we want to make pricing transparent to the world. We found a way to essentially show real-time pricing directly from the source. And so we were established in 2019. And so we're a few years into development. We built our software. We actually, in about 2 weeks, we'll be launching it live, worldhealthx.com.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And so, but what we really need is we really need the world to get engaged to make this happen.
Right.
And so we're very excited. It's going to take a lot of hands and stakeholders to really help bring this into scale. And we're going to keep this completely free, patients and providers. So businesses, we saw through both the lens of a patient and the provider. And at the end of the day, all 7 billion of us are patients, right?
Right.
Right.
And so rather than being just consumer centric, we think it's very important to be ecosystem centric. So you would never expect a horse to run a race if it wasn't properly fed and nourished. So it's really not that much different within this ecosystem we all share. So we're going to keep this free. It's very, very similar to models we know with YouTube and Facebook. And we found a very viable model to where we use Google as the benchmark standard. So 7% of all Google searches are health related. And what that relates to is 70,000 searches per minute.
Wow.
1 billion per day.
Wow.
And so we found a clever way to be able to provide the services free to the world. And Google currently does it on an algorithm from a penny to $50 per click. So if we're the most relevant search in a solution to the world, we're that next click. We're going to do it for $1, not $50. So we found a mechanism, 70,000 clicks every minute, 1 billion per day, creates the potentials for $1 billion in gross revenue daily to really build the infrastructure we need to operate as a global company around the world that is culturally tailored to speak the languages and to help recruit those native to the country to really connect this ecosystem that's never been connected this way before. So the easy way to describe healthcare is that it is an incredibly robust, very capable system. We're very optimistic about the future, very optimistic about healthcare. And all we're doing is we're trying to take what we believe healthcare to be in the age before the internet. It's more like an old library card catalog system from 50 years ago. So the information you need is there, right? But it's very manual, time intensive. And so what this represents is becoming the internet of healthcare in a sense. Real-time information, pricing, and let's connect the world. Let's bring down pricing through that market competition. And that's what took months, if not a year, for patients to navigate their care, but we can do it in a single click.
Wow.
So that's the
Very
vision.
impressive.
That's
Love
our
it.
purpose. We're just really excited. And if there's anybody that believes they can help be a part of this mission and help make this global, we absolutely would love to have that conversation. You can reach out to us at info@worldhealthx.com.
Nice.
for
Thank
that.
you so much.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I could ask you.
I have a
1,000
million,
questions. I
right?
know.
Exactly.
Like, well,
Well, I'll give an ad in real quick.
yeah,
And even if it's just us,
yeah.
we tell our story that the journey began in 2014. That was the day that I became, that's the day that I went into a hospital system. And I came from DC in a very diplomatic space. I used to be on the delegation to negotiate nuclear treaties.
Wow.
So I was in the nuclear treaty and monitoring.
I feel like there's so much more that we need to uncover with you. That's amazing. That is amazing.
But I grew up in hospitals. My father grew up, he had a stroke. So at a very early age, I had to grow up very, very quick. So I watched my mother struggle through the challenges of navigating healthcare. And just in those unplanned events, Steve Jobs says you can only connect the dots looking back.
Yeah.
Through a series of unplanned events. And in college, I got into supercomputing and saw what the power of doing computational chemistry on a computer could do. Data helps transcend biases, is what it does. It does some amazing things. And then just going through, I was in the military for quite a few years. I did acquisitions, so R&D,
Wow.
from ideation till trying to bring it to the world. And then later on had an opportunity to travel the world, understand the power of connecting the world in these UN-like environments. And then the hospital system really brought all of that back together as I got a touch older. And now it's mostly those that we work together have all come together, both as friends and professionals. My day starts at 4:30. I go to bed around midnight, and we do that every single day. But what we're doing is we're building a hot rod in the garage. Not that much different than how Apple started in a garage.
Right.
So we have the software. We're going to launch the site. Amazon started with books,
Right.
but we knew the potential beyond books. So that's how we look. We're going to start with just procedural pricing. But in time, we want to be able to do this for the entire industry.
Right. That's amazing.
So,
It's really amazing what you guys are creating right now and almost done. You're going to go live with this when
Yes.
officially?
We have our chief technology officer is an incredibly talented coder. It started mostly with 3 people, myself as mostly the lead designer, and a very simple job. Keep it simple.
Right,
Keep this intuitive so that anybody can use it.
right.
When you do the search, it automatically, just from lowest cost to highest cost, ranks it real time based on where you're at. And in a single click, it connects you.
And it connects you with the doctor that'll do that procedure or,
It does.
right,
And so there's another added component. So in its beginnings, if a hospital chooses not to be on agreement, we'll link them to a website. If they choose to be on agreement and for free, it's very important that it's for free.
right,
We're going to give them a portal access that's always going to put all of their pricing right next to what the best price in the world is.
hmm,
So in a single click, they can input their price and go live in one click. And having been in the hospital system, hospital sends tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars for business intelligence, business development, and marketing. And what we want to do is we want to be able to build a solution to have the best product that has the entire globe looking in one place. And for free, if they can help compete in pricing and their outcomes and patient experience, and there's a rating system that helps do that, it really helps them reduce their costs. So we're very empathetic both to those that are our healthcare heroes as much as those that we want to serve. Because again, we're all patients at the end of the day.
right.
But
So
if it's everybody, it sounds like.
Yes.
it's for everybody. And later on, we're going to bundle airlines, hotels. We're going to get everything in a single click. And so at the end of the day, we really want to go beyond what is just a $3 trillion industry. And we want to also be able to engage into the whole entire global economy and essentially bring prices down and make life much easier for everybody.
It sounds good. It sounds like a
Right.
win-win for everybody. I love that.
Thank you, Tim.
You're so innovative. I see why you're at Synapse. And I wish you all the best of luck. We need to stay in touch.
Absolutely. No,
And thank you
so
for
much.
coming on Live Bold and Boss Up.
No, thank you for having me.
That was great chatting with Tim. And now we chat with David Adelson. He, again, is the Chief Innovation Officer over at the Orlando Economic Partnership. And he brings a background of very successful exits and helping others achieve the very same success.
So David Adelson.
Yes. It's great
Thank
to be
you.
here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming on our show.
Appreciate it.
So I want you to tell your story because I know we've talked in the past. I met you before at an Orlando event.
Yep.
And you had a company, you sold it a few years back, and now you're with the ODP.
Yep. That's correct.
I'm so used to Tampa, thinking
Right,
in like
right.
Tampa terms, but the Orlando Development Partnership,
Orlando Economic Partnership.
OED.
OEP.
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 Yeah.
What are those letters?
The crazy
What are
I
those?
mean,
acronyms.
there's
Yeah.
only 26 letters. Just pick them.
All right. So, anyways, I want to hear your story. Just like tell us kind of your background and why you're in your role that you're in today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with the background. So I managed hotels for the first 15 years of my career. So I was a hospitality manager, hotels in New York, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Boston, Philadelphia. And then I moved to Orlando in 2005 to take on a pretty large property here. And after a couple of years, I saw some gaps in the marketplace when it came to self-service technology in hospitality. And self-service technology means, guest services. How does a guest order in-room dining or a wake-up call? And that quickly evolved. So my company's name was Intellity. I started in 2008. Intellity basically was a back office engine that integrated into all the hotel systems. And then there was guest facing attributes to it. So your mobile device, an in-room tablet. So if you've ever used a mobile app to check into a hotel, or if you've ever seen a tablet in a hotel guest room to turn the lights on and off or order services, that was probably my company.
Wow.
So I powered Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, Four Seasons, most of the global brands. The company got quite large, a little over 300 people and 7 offices throughout the world, and did that for a little over 12 years and decided it was my time not to do it any longer. So I looked for some opportunities to exit, and I sold the company to a private equity firm at the end of 2018. Took some time off, and now I find my home at the Orlando Economic Partnership coming back.
I love that because now, like you had a lot of success. Congratulations on all that. And now this is a great role where you're so connected in the community. You're like giving back to the community I love the partnerships and that whole piece of it. Like, I feel like you're so connected, and that's how we met in the first place.
Yeah, and that's my purpose. So my purpose is being that I've gone through the trials and tribulations of an entrepreneur in this marketplace and understanding its ecosystem. I could have done a lot of things after retirement. I could have started another company. I could have led another company. There's a lot of things I could have picked and chose. But my passion is growing people. And not only people within my own team, but within my own organization, but people within the community. So if I can have a hand at helping that next entrepreneur get a higher multiple or a bigger exit, or find funding or connect with a revenue partner, if I can help and assist, then I'm fulfilling the buckets that fulfill my heart.
Right.
And right now, my drive is giving back in areas that I wasn't receiving, because I know how important it is as a foundation, as an entrepreneur, to receive that.
That's great. That whole background, sorry, keep
No,
talking.
it's okay.
You can connect with those people that have gone through or going through that now because you've been through it.
Yeah.
And you've done it.
Yeah. I mean, instantly, I already have the credibility because I know what they're going through.
Right.
And I have the patience to walk them through it, because I know where they're headed.
Right.
And in some cases, some of them are headed nowhere. And I'm not afraid to tell them that, because sometimes you need to hear that as well.
Right.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
What were some of the areas or things that you felt like, hey, I didn't get this when I was an entrepreneur, right? Or going through my business, that you feel like, okay, I want to make sure that I give this to someone.
Yeah.
What was it?
That's a great question. Access to capital is always a big deal. I mean, as a CEO, you spend a lot of time raising money, and then you're trying to run a company at the same exact time. And you go through a lot of rabbit holes, because you feel like you're chasing dollars. And when I look back now, chasing your passion creates dollars, not chasing dollars to create your passion. And that's one of the biggest sound advice I'll give to any entrepreneur, is that keep your head down, do what you have to do, and eventually the money will come. Because when you chase passion, your gratification at the end of the road is that much larger than anything else. So, capital is a big piece of it, training and development, and really just sound advice. I think a lot of CEOs sit in these silos as founders, because they're trying to solve their own problems, that they don't have a lot of people to go to recognize some of the problems they're not even dealing with. So I think giving that advice and connecting them with other CEOs is really valuable.
Nice. How are you keeping this all very innovative, right? We're at Synapse. It's a tech innovative conference, and obviously, you still continue to grow yourself, right? And what you're going to do. I mean, You're not old. You have like decades on decades left, right?
Yeah, that's really kind of you. So, when I joined the OEP, it was to take on innovation and tech, but I've created something much larger than that here in Orlando. So we unrolled this MetaCentral brand, which kind of brings together all of the tech in our region. And I'm looking at Orlando as my own company. This is my company. I'm building my own company right now. It's just in a different way. And that's the way that I'm approaching this, is that I make the decisions that I make on my daily as if it were my own company, and I'm looking for my own exit at the end of the day. And that exit for me is everybody thriving.
I love that.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of a very simple quote. It's better to give than receive.
For sure.
Right. And you're just kind of fulfilling that.
Yep.
I love that.
Quick question. So Orlando, whenever you first got here versus Orlando now,
Ooh.
how has it changed from then and now?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that question. So when I actually sold my company, I didn't hear from anybody. I mean, I lived 13 years in Orlando with my company thriving and never connected inside of the community. I didn't even really even know there was a tech and innovation community.
Wow.
And that's one of the lessons learned for me as to why I want to change that dynamic, because I want to make it incredibly inclusive. And what's changed even specifically in the past year, and a lot of it is a post-COVID boom of a lot of people relocating, but Orlando is a hotbed of talent. It is a hotbed of creativity and innovation. The magic began here with the mouse decades ago. And that magic and the things that we have here are innovative. So, what I've seen in the past year is really us taking all the components that have already made us and really just letting people know. I mean, we've been in stealth for so long.
Yeah.
And there's other markets that claim that they're one of the top 10 most innovative markets, and we have so much more than that. And this is our opportunity to let the world know that not only have we arrived, but we're not going anywhere, and we're here to play.
I love it.
Well, I think you're doing a good job because Orlando was just named one of the top, emerging tech
Yep.
Yes.
cities
Yes.
in the United States.
Yeah,
So
many number ones this year. Fastest growing company for entrepreneurs, fastest increase in tech salaries, most connected city. But there's probably 10 or 15 different accolades, what puts us at number one. And when we're looking to compete against all these other cities like Miami and Austin and Denver, we're the one getting the number ones right now. I mean, so this is our time, and we're going to capitalize on that time, and we're going to make sure the rest of the world knows that this is who we are.
love it.
And I can attest to you being innovative and really connecting and making sure the people who need to meet are meeting, because you've already done that several times over.
Sure.
So I'm really appreciative of all the work that you're doing.
Well, if we're not here to help each other,
Right.
then we're only helping ourselves.
Right. I love that.
Great. Thank you, David.
All right.
Thank
Thank you for having me.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And now the grand finale. Guys, we chat with Dave Finnigan. He's the founder of Green Actioneers. He is so sweet and such a great personality, right?
Yeah. I mean, he juggled in front of us
He did.
while he was there.
Live jungling. But he has a lifetime of knowledge that I feel like Steph noticed right away and was like, we have to chat with you. Dave created this book. It's fun. It's animated. It's a way for the kids to learn how to
Be green.
be green, right? Take little
Yeah.
steps, take action to be green, to help the planet. And it really kind of empowers kids and gets them going on this
Right.
adventure.
And it's in English and Spanish. And he calls it a family activity.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do it together. I thought it was really cool. And, I could see schools doing it and implementing it
Right.
in their system.
Yeah.
And the families get to go home with the book, and the book has in it everything that everybody needs. For instance, it's got artwork for the little guys, so it's a coloring book. It's got word games and puzzles for the older kids. It's in English, it's in Spanish, and it's got a Where's Waldo feature that everybody loves. So that's the Green Actioneers Family Action Guide, available at your local school.
That was perfect.
I
What
love
doesn't it
that.
have? It has everything.
Yeah, it's going to be something that every family will be able to be proud that they had, and they'll actually do it, because the kids are going to be coming home and going, Mom, Susie did this. Mom, Bobby did that. And so they'll be able to move forward as a community. Eventually, it'll become a community program, but it starts out with the individual family. It's a bubble up program, not a trickle down program.
I
I love it, Dave.
Give us a couple examples of what's in there that teaches kids for a
Uh,
greener.
There are 100 actions that families can take. You can randomly open it and you'll find something that you may or may not be doing. This one is about use shades, not air conditioner, in order to cool a room. And then the next one is get a energy audit, and everybody should do that. And the next one is change your HVAC, and the next one is get a water system, and then there's go find out about PACE funding. So it's all stuff that kids love, because it's things that are a little off color, like use a bidet instead of toilet paper. Very good idea. Okay.
Hey, might be more clean, I think. You know?
Yeah, if you spilled chocolate syrup on your arm, would you wipe it off or wash it off?
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Case
Good point.
closed.
Mhm. You had in there like a rooftop garden too.
Oh, everything.
And planting plants and everything. It's
There's
beautiful.
100 actions that families can take to go green. So every family can find things that they can do in the book.
Thank you
We
so much,
love it.
Dave. Thank you for
Dave.
stopping
Dave
by.
Finnigan here
My
at
pleasure.
Synapse.
Thank you for being here.
Guys, well, that concludes all of the speakers that we had at Synapse Live over in Orlando. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope it brings you some inspiration and innovation.
Yeah. And we'll put their information at the end of the show notes so you can check them out. They're all great. And until next time.
Live bold and boss up.